How's it going, guys? Patrick here from Queen's Gambit, bringing you an episode about the latest update. Now, just when you're listening to this, I realise that my video on the latest update is probably about 3 or 4 days later than most YouTubers, and it's not the most timely thing, and you guys would already experimented with updates as it is. But what I wanted to focus this video on to make it a bit different and make it worth you guys watching is some insights about the update. These are things which I haven't seen on any update videos by any clashes. I have a contrary view on a few things, particularly the Earthquake spell, which I think will be game-changing, so listen out for that. And I'll show you guys a couple of replays where the spells have been used and to what effect they're being used for. So, just at the outset, like, the thing is with any update, any big one in Clash of Clans, the thing is that people get really excited before it. Then they start to experiment with new spells or new troop or whatever it is this time around. Then they think, oh, this is nothing game changer. That spell or that new troop isn't as good as I was getting excited for. But then, so it goes through this kind of lull phase where people kind of get like a bit disheartened with update as such. But then after that, once the top end war community have been experimenting for a little while with the new updates, they've been figuring out how to use these new troops, new spells, whatever update holds. They actually come up with ways to use them to quite devastating effect, and there becomes this period afterwards where if you learn how to use it quick enough, you can get a lot of free stars and exploit a lot of bases. Now the example, if you guys are a bit lost, the example I'm thinking of is actually Lalunian. And I'll run some replays in the background so you guys got something to watch. So when the Lava Hound came out, everyone got really excited. Then they started using it and realised it was just some big beefy air tank and wasn't going to get them free stars all the time. They got disillusioned with it, didn't bother with the Lava Hound anymore. And then what happens was that for Serious War community, they figured out how to use this Lalunian attack, how to path Lava Hounds, how to place balloons, and it became real dominant. It is a dominant strategy, or slightly overpowered at Town Hall 9, and at Town Hall 10 it's pretty much your only free chance of a free star against a good base. So even if the coming weeks people get pretty bored of these spells, there could be something in it. It's just got to wait until the professional war community adopts it and figures out how to use them. So watch your space. But my other point about this update is that, before I get stuck into nitty gritty, is that it's not one for the war community. So the war community has been asking for three things. Firstly, they wanted tournaments. So if you beat somebody, maybe you can move on to the next stage of tournament, beat somebody else, and you can make it regional, or you could see how far you can get in a tournament. Just as something apart from endless grinds of just winning war after war after war. The second thing that war community wanted was ability to use heroes when they're down. So if your hero is being upgraded, instead of having to spend 1,000 gems to gem 7 days, or 999 gems, sorry guys, that's the true cost of it. Wanted to be able to use her heroes in war. And the third one that war community wanted is some way of coordinating attacks amongst its members. So like some scheduling software where I say, hey guys, I'm calling base number 4, no one else touch it until I've had a go at it. So that's kind of what war community wanted, and they didn't get any of that. In fairness, there is one other thing that war community wanted that they did get. They wanted to fix the AI of Archer Queen. Archer Queen is usually just a giant wall breaker. She'll just focus on walls pointlessly and pretty much ruin your chance of a 3-star raid at times. And also some of the AI where your troops will focus on walls even though everything in that department's been destroyed. And I think Supercell Cell's done a great job of fixing it. It's going to have some implications for our gameplay, like for example, you have to cut the funnel wider since the update, I've noticed. Because Archer Queen's not just going to hit the wall in front of her, she'll avoid it at all costs, so if you've got any trash on the left and right side, she'll run for that. So make sure you cut your funnel really wide if you don't want her to go walking around outside. But yeah, I mean, this isn't an update for war community. We're not getting anything like how we got Clan XP in the update a few updates ago. So despite the banging on about this new spell factory and this league trophy pushes thing, I don't know what it is. This whole whatever league, Titan League or whatever, I'm not a trophy pusher, so I don't care. I'm not going to cover that. I think the biggest updates, the biggest changes to the game have actually been by stealth this time around. So it's all the stuff in the fine print which wasn't leaked and Supercell didn't really talk about. So what I'm thinking of here is, for example, it's there was a buff to the HP of buildings, so buildings have more hit points, and it sounds like a minor balancing change since you're getting more power with your spells and stuff like that. So they're making it harder to get a 3-star in a building, a 3-star in a base. But one which has a really big implication is actually archer towers. Back in the day, you used to be able to take out an archer tower with one loon bomb drop, and then the loon falling or crashing on that archer tower. So you could take down one archer tower with one loon, you get a 1-for-1 trade. Now you can't anymore, because what happens is that they buffed the archer tower's hit points. I forget to what. I'll show you guys once we're out of this replay. And basically what happens is when a loon drops a bomb, it does 648 damage. When a loon crashes on an archer tower, it does 162. So total damage is 810. And archer towers used to have less than 810 hit points. Now it got more than 810. It actually takes 2 loon drops or 1 bomb drop and 2 loon suicides on an archer tower. So you're going to have to use 2 loons. You're not going to get those 1-for-1 trades anymore. The thing is, there's been buffs to other buildings, but I haven't seen any which are kind of cut that threshold. Like, you needed 2 loons for cannons and wizard towers before, and you're still going to use 2 loons now. I think you can still take out a Max Tesla with 1 loon. I think Max Tesla is 810 hit points. This is max for Town Hall 9 I'm talking about here. So you can still get a 1-for-1 trade on the Teslas. And I don't think the mortar's had much of a buff to its HP at all, so you can get a 1-for-1 trade on a mortar. So that's one of the sort of stealth changes which I think is really going to change the game. Another one, and this one is one that I'm fascinated by, is that they've rebalanced the elixir cost of troops. So now an archer, get this, a single archer costs 400 elixir. 400 elixir for a single archer. I think it used to be 250, and I'm talking level 6 archer here. I don't see how it's a rebalancing. Personally, I think it's way out of whack. Going to ruin up arch raids quite a bit. It's a bit of a nerf to Barch. And it's just really, it's... I mean, I'm not a maths genius, but what is that? It's about 75% increase in the cost of an archer. It's a lot. It's crazy, I think. So I'll show you what the HP is now of archer towers. So keep in mind, I used to be less than 810. Here's a max archer tower for Town Hall 9, and it's 890. So the loons, a loon bomb and a loon suicides takes 810 damage, so it's going to leave 80 on archer tower. One other thing I noticed is I did a surgical Hoggus raid, and it was definitely a failed raid. I did not do well, but it's... Oh, let's not show us. I'll show a different replay. A couple of these got close, I think. Not many replays this war. We haven't really fired into action yet. Still confident we'll win a war, but not heaps to show there. I'll show one with a haste spell in just a second. But yeah, my surgical hog raid, the general rule of thumb for surgical hogs is 3 hogs on each cannon or point defense, whatever it is. It might be a Tesla, it might be an archer tower, hippity hoo whatever. But I found I was quite underpowered this time. I'm not sure if it's because a lot of my hogs hit spring traps, and I did quite a messy job of a surgical. But 3 on each tower with this HP buff seemed to not quite be enough. I'm going to do surgical hog for my second attack, so hopefully that goes better. So let's talk about the spells, and my view is that, I mean, some of this is quite revolutionary. I'll start with poison spell, which I think Clam's going to use in his attack. So I'll run a replay while it's going. He also uses a haste, which is quite good. So I think for Town Hall 9, this poison spell thing is a bit of a game changer. It'll make it a lot easier to 3-star. And the reason is because, I mean, okay, so it's meant to replace a lightning spell. You're meant to get this kind of circular radius thing instead of just one hit. So it's a lot less volatile, easier to kill a clan castle troops. But I don't think it's just the ease of killing a clan castle troops that makes a difference. I think it's more a fact that you can have 9 spell space now, which means that back in the day, if you used to take a lightning, so you did no lower, you'd go for lightning, that left you with 3 normal spells that you could use. So you can maybe take 2 heals and a jump or a rage or something else, you know? But now with a 9 space, you can use 4 normal spells. So you use 1 space for the 1 space for your poison spell, and 4 spaces or 8 spaces for your 4 normal spells. So it's going to be a lot more conducive to doing things like cold-blooded, shattered, basically no clan castle lure and just relying on a poison spell, which Clem used. So I think it's a big change. The haste, I'll show you Clem's replay. He uses a haste because this is Laloon. Now I know outset you saw it and you got 1 star, but I call this a 3-star attack. It was so close. It was just that Tesla ray. It was nuts. So here we are, some footage of a Town Hall 10 doing what I call a 3-star attack using a haste spell. Enjoy. So I should use it soon. Yep. So here come balloons. He put a rage down as well? Yeah, he put a rage down, and I'll explain why he did a combination of rage and haste in just a second. Let it go around. Come on, last haste. Is he going to hasten into Wizard Tower? No? Here we go. I mean, those loons are moving fast. A haste spell is actually faster than a rage spell. You don't get any DPS buff, but you get buff to your speed, and it's a bigger one. So what you're watching now is a maxed haste spell, I believe. Level 3, I believe it's maxed. I'm not an expert on it yet, in its early days of update, but yeah, my understanding is that it's maxed haste. And here's what ruins a poor guy's raid. Look at this. The Tesla's got like an inch of health left, eh? This is so sad. Oh, it's painful. I watched this one live. I feel sorry for him. He's a great attacker, and this one just didn't work out. But oh well. It's good to have a rough war at the start, so you know your clanmates aren't modding. We hate modding. We're damn strict about it. Look, I nearly got a Town Hall as well, just that one Tesla zapping them all. So a thing of haste is it's substitute for a rage spell. And the thing is, with a rage spell, like, you don't need the DPS part of it sometimes. So say the convention of Laloonian is that you put 2 loons on each tower, or point defense. And the thing is that you don't need any buffer to a DPS to take it out in 1 bomb drop. So 2 loons doing a bomb drop will take out the archer tower, it'll take out a cannon, take out a mortar, take out a Tesla. The only time where you really need a rage is for when you're focusing on those high HP buildings and defenses, so things like the crossbow, the Inferno tower, and that's probably only 2 I can name right now. I think they're the key ones. Yeah, so what you're going to see, and I think this is like Clam's raid, is that you'll use haste on outsides because even though it doesn't give you a damage buff, it gives you more speeds than a rage spell, and it takes half the space. So you can put in twice as many haste spells as rages. You can pretty much have the base covered off of haste spells. So you're going to see that on outside, but as your troops get to a core, as your Laloonian gets to a core, you're going to see rage, because people want the damage buff to cut through with crossbows and Inferno towers as well as a Town Hall 10. So that's my prediction about how the haste spell will be used. Now, here's one which I'm a real contrarian on. Like, everyone's saying that the Earthquake spell will suck, right? And I just want you to look at this base for a second. Now, I agree that Earthquake spell sucks if you're using it against buildings. It only takes a percentage of health, and that amount of damage it takes diminishes as a building has less health. So if you have a building on, say, 1000 HP, and the spell takes 10%, that means it'll do 100 on the first hit. The building will be down to 900 HP, the spell will take 10% of that, so it'll only do 90 on a second hit. So you get this kind of diminishing damage type thing going on. Now, what is exciting about the Earthquake spell is that 4 of them will take out any walls, so there's a damage boost when you're using them against walls. And imagine if you took 8 Earthquake spells to a space, right? And what you did is you put 4 right in the center of that crossbow. So you take out all the walls around it. And you put 4 in the center of that crossbow. So you took out all the walls around it. What that'll mean is that this base, every compartment, would be fully opened up except for that one on the edge and that one on the edge there. Now what that does is it makes Go Wipe a lot more powerful or feasible strategy. I've never been an advocate of Go Wipe. I hate it. I think it's a 2-star thing. If you get a 3-star, it's just luck. But But with this Earthquake spell, it could give a renewed power to it, I don't know, particularly on dense spaces like this. Because imagine if you took out all the walls around the expo and the top expo, your troops would be open to go into here, be open to go into here, straight across through a base, straight across to that compartment. The only thing I don't have access to is there, and there. There are some small compartments I won't have access to, like for example this one for Air Sweeper, but your wizards and your archers and everything can always fire over walls about easily. So, my prediction, and this is contrary to what all the top clashes are saying, they reckon Earthquake spell has no point and it'll be useless. My prediction is that it will be good on really compact bases like this, because a few Earthquake spells can open up the compartments, and it'll give more power to land attacks at Town Hall 10 level, as you won't have to cut through any walls basically, you're all open. Make things like Go Wipe more feasible, Brimstone more feasible, Go Wee Wee, whatever, stuff which is usually 2-star strategies, or could get the power to become free, I don't know. So that is, I mean, that's my 2 cents on update. I hope I offered something different there. A lot of commentary saying, you know, oh, haste spell makes troops go faster, but poison you can use for a clan castle lure. I mean, this is my insights on how it could be applied in a war context. Now, one thing I just remembered I forgot to say is that with that poison spell, my view is that you want to place it just in front of your kill squad or troops if you're not doing a lure. Because when you think about it, the thing is, you want the enemy troops to sit in a poison for as long as possible, and the place that they're going to stop is just a couple of tiles in front of your troops while a wizard's fire at them, for example. So once your troops are, cutting through a base, I reckon just place a poison spell slightly in front of them. Okay, that's all from me. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this is informative, helps you guys out on wars. Might do an update video once the professional war community has figured out how to use these spells to maximum effect. Keep your eye out for videos from One Hive, Hebrew Legends, even Hulk sometimes, just so you got your finger on a pulse of how these new updates are being used, and see if there's any ways that you can easily get a free star. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you later.